Hi, it's Brat Summer. We knew that. We've all been talking about it. I made a fun little brat cake for content a few weeks ago, which, I don't know, maybe you saw, but I just did it for fun and I didn't really expect anything to come of it. And then I got an inquiry for a brat cake for a real client for a birthday party, or I guess technically a half birthday party. So here's that process. It was so much fun. They requested that bright brat green base color, and then for the piping detail on the sides, they wanted white, and then just like a hint of black for the trim, which I thought, genius. That's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? The more unique request they had was little hot dogs and cigarettes on top. So I did make those out of fondant, pulled out those little fondant figure skills from my back pocket, and honestly, they turned out pretty good. I don't have many I liked this artist before they were big complexes, but the one that I do feel like I have a right to is Charli XCX, and I actually have proof of this. Every year my husband and I throw a Spotify Wrapped party where everyone comes dressed as their number one Spotify artist, and I was Charli XCX for the past 2 years, okay? She's been my number one artist for that long. Although I do have to give some credit here to my husband, and she was actually his number one artist in the How I'm Feeling Now Charli era of like 2019, 2020. So he still has that on me, unfortunately, but we are both super fans. And I have a hot take. This is a piping hot take, I feel. And Brat is a perfect album. It's a 10 out of 10 album, and still, I think How I'm Feeling Now is my favorite Charli album. I'm just so excited. I feel like Brat really grew into its whole own culture. I mean, obviously, it's a phenomenon. It's incredible. I am really just happy to be here, living my life in my 20s during the Brat era. When I talk about Charli XCX, I feel like that one scene in Mean Girls when she's like, I can tell people were getting annoyed with me, but I just couldn't stop talking about it. Like, that's me right now. Okay, I'm loving the black trim. I feel like it's kind of giving lingerie, and it's also giving like Y2K vibes, which I'm all about it. I did use a Brat text generator and a projector to do the text because it was kind of tricky and I had to make sure to get the spacing just right, but I think it turned out perfect, to be honest. Okay, this is fun. Here we go. We're gonna make some little hot dogs out of fondant. I started by making the buns, just shaping those, rolling them out, getting really detailed with it. And then for the actual dog part, I had this genius idea to use a fork and like edible black dust to make little grill lines, and I feel like those little details are really what sell a tiny figure like this. Believe it or not, I have made fondant hot dogs before, so I felt like I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. But honestly, the cigarettes were a little harder because I had to make the yellow part and the white part like perfectly seamless. Ultimately, I decided on just making them white and then painting the yellow part yellow. I think that was the right call. I think they look pretty good. I feel like I should have waited for these to dry overnight though before I added them on the cake because they weren't perfectly dry when I added them and they're like sagging a tiny bit, but I think it could be worse, so you know, you live and you learn. Okay, this is a long video. We're almost there. I'm sure there are plenty other cake makers out there who could have made a delicious cake with classic vintage piping and a culturally relevant theme, who also had the skills to make little fondant figures on top. But honestly, I feel like this cake is one of a kind, and this weird order is one of the many reasons I love my job. I made some edible ash out of cornstarch and black dust, and I think that was the perfect finishing touch. Riley, I hope you had a bratty birthday. Bye!